Welcome to our first Rocky River Ravens football report with Coach Orlando Gray. And Coach, we're well into the season now, and I see a team that is really progressing in the Ravens from day one on that rainy night to a victory last week. And kind of take us through some of the progressions that your team has made this season.
Well, first, thanks for having me. Glad to be here. Definitely, anytime I get an opportunity to talk about my kids and our program and where we're going, and it's always a great thing. So just to talk a little bit about the season, I mean, obviously opening up with Butler is always tough. Well, playing them, period, is always tough. Mike Hales runs a good program over there, but we're accustomed to the playing about mid-season, and we're typically rolling pretty good by then. Continuity has been just one of those things. Because of the pandemic, we haven't had a lot of time to spend with our kids and get them developed in some of our key positions. And early on, we experienced just, their inexperience has had an impact on what we're trying to accomplish. But each week we've gotten better. And that's the thing that we talk about from the outstart is, are we getting better each week? And we've played some tough competition. I mean, from the start, from Butler, Myers Park, Hickory Ridge, and East Meck, even though the score showed us with a big win, very competitive, hard-working bunch, limited in numbers, but worked very hard. So we had to work for that win. And in some of our early games, we were, I say especially after the Butler game, Myers Park game, we had opportunities to score points and do some things different. It's just, again, the lack of experience in some of our key positions put us in some bad spots. And so those things we have learned over the next weeks is making sure we're fixing some of those things and giving our kids opportunities to be successful on the field with some of our play calling, simplifying some of the things that we were trying to do. And it's shown over the last couple of weeks.
Coach, I know I saw game one and game three, and there was a marked improvement from game one. Well, even from the first half to the second half in game one, looked like your guys were starting to listen and take to heart what you're trying to tell them to do.
Yeah, you can tell. We could tell early that our kids were not necessarily confident in some of the stuff we were trying to accomplish. Again, we probably have about 3 or 4 new kids to our program, along with we're junior heavy. Even though we have a lot of seniors, we have a lot of juniors that are playing a big role this year where they have had no Friday night experience. And so each week, again, we've gotten better. We changed some kids around to different positions where they're more comfortable, where they can be more successful, and not do a lot of thinking on the field, where they can just actually go out on the field and play. So as a coaching staff, I love my coaching staff. As we meet on Sundays and Saturdays and Sundays, we talk about our evaluations of our kids. Is there a kid that is not getting to play? Does he need an opportunity? As you may have saw in our stats last week, one of our wide receivers who was new to our program coming in last year had a big game. Craig Purvis had about 4 receptions and a touchdown, getting acclimated to our system. So as we're getting further into the season, we're really getting to learn our kids. And so our kids are getting more confident in what we're trying to do. And so that's where we're seeing it happen, or them playing better on the field, because I do believe they get more confident, with each other and with our coaches. And so it's a marriage. And sometimes, people don't, the people in the stands don't see it as such, but even just like a marriage, you may be in love with something, you still have to get to know it to see what's they're good at and what they're not good at. And finding those opportunities to get better. And that's what we've been able to do from week 1 to week 4.
Coach, talk about some of the leaders on this team.
Wow.
I know there's several on both sides of the ball.
Yes. I got here 4 years ago and took the program over, and my main focus was to develop player leadership and to have a player-led team. The teams that I've been able to coach, I've been blessed to coach under Coach Easy Smith, who is a legend in the state of North Carolina. I played for Bruce Harden, who was a legend. And I got to coach with Ron Massey, who was another legend, and also Mike Newsom, who was a great coach. But I got to find out, what it takes, really to develop kids. I got to find out what it takes to develop leaders. And so that's been my mission, to develop young leaders. And so the seniors that I have this year were my freshmen. And so they've been hearing me talk about player leadership, senior leadership from day one. So I think this year is the first time I've been able to turn the team over to a team captain. And he actually is a representation of what a leader should be. And Javon McGyver and A.J. Collins. A.J. Collins is number 3. He plays wide receiver for us. He's played some quarterback for us, as you've seen. He's also, in the last 2 games, have said, Coach, I'll play DB. I'll do whatever it takes. But Javon McGyver, also, he plays a corner, free safety, wide receiver on special teams. But these 2 in particular have been what I've been looking for as not only example leaders, but vocal leaders, leaders on and off the field. In the past 3 years, I've had great example leaders as players that come to the workouts their own time. They don't do anything so far as to cause trouble or problems, but never really being vocal, never really standing out there and say, you know what, I'm going to demand from my teammates to do the right things, to be on time, to even execute punishments as deemed necessary, by talking to me and saying, hey, coach, man, this guy has been late every day. He deserves a punishment. He don't need to play, even as it comes to starters. And so when you get leadership like that, now you have a group that will follow their teammates. And so that's what we have now. I've been able to say, hey, captains, make sure that we're in our stretch lines on time. Make sure that we're out of the locker rooms. Make sure we're ready to load the bus. And I've been able to hand that over to our captains. And so that's even trickled down to our junior varsity. And so I expect to have leaders continually throughout our program as I'm still here. And hopefully for years to come, I'm hoping to be able to leave the program better than what I found it. And so we do have those 2 stick out very much for me, Javon McGyver and A.J. Collins, great young men, great leaders. They're doing well in the classroom as well. So couldn't ask for better.
Coach, you like to hear that both classroom and on the field. That makes a difference. Makes a difference. Big game coming up this Friday night. I believe Porter Ridge coming to town. Let's talk about that game. Talk about the keys for the Ravens this week.
For us, it's finishing. Keys for Ravens this week is finishing drives, offensively and defensively. No turnovers, limiting our turnovers. We've shown in the last 3 games when we're not turning the ball over and when we're not giving up big plays, we're pretty dang good. We cause teams to punt the ball on defense when we don't give up the big plays over 20 yards. And when we don't turn over the ball, we're able to sustain drives offensively. Porter Ridge is always, Mike Hurst does a great job of having a disciplined, well-coached team. Offensively, they run some stuff that makes you be disciplined on defense. They're triple option football team, and they have a quarterback this year that can throw the ball as well. So that's going to pose some challenges on defense, but we're doing a great job. My coaching staff have done a great job of coming up with a scheme and continuing to evaluate practice every day to see what's working and what's not working. Defensively, they're very sound. They don't do a lot of blitzing, but they have kids that can play. And so, again, it's going to be our job to stay on our blocks, finish drives, punt when it's necessary, not take chances when we don't need to, just do what we need to do. And I'm hoping that our talent will take over at the end of the game. They have kids going both ways just as we do. So I'm hoping that, our athletes can make plays in the game that will put us in a great position to win. I look forward to this game. We hadn't been able to beat Porter Ridge on the varsities in 3 years. So I'm hoping this year we can break through that and bring a win home on Friday night.
Coach, that's a winning streak, right?
Yes, it will be.
Coach, anything else we should know about this Friday night's football game?
Well, I know I expect to see us build on the improvements that we've made, having conversations with our quarterbacks this week, making sure they're understanding the game plan, our defensive captains, making sure they understand the game plan. Again, our coaching staff has done a great job each week of getting our kids prepared. I'm excited. I think it's going to be a nail biter. I think it's going to come down to who doesn't turn the ball over. The team that makes, there's least penalized. There are two good teams coming. They're 3-1. They had their first loss against Butler last week, and I think it was last week, or it might have been the week before last. I'm sorry. And so they coming off a win against Garinger. So we got to be ready. I think it's going to be nice weather. I think it's supposed to be warm. So for us, it's just playing hard, playing together, making sure we keep our composure even when negative things happen in the game. And I think the team that can do that the best will win Friday night. So I'm excited about being back on the sideline, not being on the sideline the last 2 weeks.
I know that kills a coach like you, doesn't it, Coach?
It's been very challenging. My wife almost thought I was depressed there for a minute. She had to take me out Saturday to make me feel better. But I'm excited for Rocky River program in general. I think we're on the right track. Our goal is to finish with a winning season going into the off season. And so with a big win Friday night, it puts us in a great position to do that. And so we're definitely excited and looking forward to it.
Coach, I'm going to throw a challenge out there to some of the fans that I don't think we're going to have any excuses weather-wise this week. And
no.
Coming off a win, there should be some excitement about the Ravens. So the fans, if we can get them out there, they'll have plenty of food to eat. So you don't have to worry about getting supper. Come and eat at the concession stand.
That's right.
Food truck, and we should.
That's right.
Should have something going. If you can't come to the game, fans, NFHS Network, just look at Rocky River on NFHS Network. The game will be streamed there. I'll be doing the play-by-play on the games, and it's been a real joy to be with you guys so far this season, and looking forward to a big game on Friday night, Coach. Yes, thank you so much for what you've done. I've gotten great compliments about the play-by-play, and so again, we're excited to have you a part of Rock Nation, and hopefully we can continue this marriage for years to come. Coach, I appreciate that. And we're going to try to do a little bit better on the numbers. I've figured out a couple guys that I have the wrong numbers for. It's bad eyesight. It's not numbers not on the roster. So gotcha. We'll get that straight. We'll get that straight. So, Coach, we appreciate you taking the time, Coach Orlando Gray. I'm Mark Plemmons of 485 Sports. This has been the Rocky River Ravens Football Report. Come out Friday night, coming to Rock Nation. It's going to be Porter Ridge, and kickoff at 7 o'clock, Coach. Yes, sir. All right. Thanks for joining us, guys. Have a great day. Thanks for having me.